The boy Dub Deuce in the building.
All right, what up, what up, what up? It is that guy Dub, and I am back with another video. How you guys doing at the end of the day, shouty? I'm good money. Now, today, we've got a special guest in the building. I usually try to stay away from politics, but this is a good friend of mine, and I definitely have some questions I want to ask. So I want to welcome to my show. Welcome, Mayor Robinson. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. Been a long time. Thanks for asking. All is well.
That is awesome. Now, you it's like I've known you said for some time. You know, saying it's
Right.
like a couple questions I want to start off with. First of all, how hard is it to get into politics?
It's not hard at all. The
Mhm.
key to it is staying true to yourself because as long as you can't be bought out, because a lot of people tend to be misled. Um, so the thing is staying true to yourself and
Mhm.
keeping God first, so you don't become corrupt. Um, I tell everybody I'm not into politics. I'm not a politician. I just want to do what's right for my community.
Okay. But you saying that like we live in such a polarizing time, you saying to where it's like the left versus the right, and you saying you got your super liberals, and then you saying you got your I call them MAGA morons that are just far left. I mean,
Right.
but like far out there. You said, how do you stay grounded when like the political climate? I know you say you keep God first, but I know it's like it has to be nerve wracking at times when you have people that are so skewed to either side of the party. How do you find yourself personally every day just not wanting to pull your hair out?
Just praying. Telling you, prayer definitely changed things. I allow God to do His thing first, and then I follow. And I learned that is the best way to help me. That helps me. I had a good friend running for governor in my state, which is Missouri, and he didn't win, but he's rerunning. And the guy that he's running against, he's a Republican, and then my good friend, he's a Democrat. So it's kind of hard. And I tell people all the time, I'm not Democrat or Republic or independent. I'm for what's right. So
Okay.
if it fits me, then okay, that's what I'm gonna go for. And a lot of people has been misled in so many ways of which party to pick, whether it's Democrat or Republic. The Black community has always been told that they're Democrats automatically. Sometimes it fit them, sometimes it don't. Some I know some African American people that are Republicans to the heart.
Mm.
So it kind of it's a give and take, or what fits you in your lifestyle.
Right. Now you said that I've had this conversation with a couple of good friends of mine. Like I said, I try to
Mhm.
stay away from politics, but sometimes the conversations come up, so we have them. And it's like when you think of most black people, most of us are using by the traditional conservative values. If what they say their values are, using doesn't always align, but what they say that using less government, using just using living right by God and everything. Everything that they say they do, that's what we actually do. But then a lot of times when it comes to Democrats, they have a tendency to talk a good game but can't back anything up. And I think a lot of times black people fall victim to that good game talking, and it's like, so why do you think that is?
Um, I mean, in our community, we've been misled all of
Mhm,
our lives, our entire lives, from our grandmas to our great grandmas, beyond. So
mhm,
I think it's kind of become like a generational curse
mhm.
to where, it's just trickled down until we break that cycle. We're going to continue end up in the same ways. Um, it's unfortunate, but that's just how it goes. I try to instill in my kids that it's about how you feel, whatever works for you.
Mm.
I watch so many different races come together and build, and it's like with the Black community, we cannot do it. We always have that crab in a bucket mentality. So
Mhm.
I'm trying to, you try to talk to people and get them out of that, but I'm dealing with it in my community, and it's very hard.
You said now, with you said not a politician, but in politics, you said because it can be so polarizing. You said like, do you ever fear for like you said like people coming after your family because they might not agree with your platform or you said or your policies or you said they like I said because sometimes they are so far skewed to whatever wing of the party that they think that that's the only way that's right. So like, have you had to have the conversation with your children about being safe because there are some crazy people out here?
I have four grown children. My oldest is 26, then
Mm,
24, 23, and 22. And of the four, two of them are concealed to carry, and
mm,
they have training, like myself. So personally, we know how to take care of ourselves.
Mhm.
So if anything arises, then we can handle it. But I pray that God keeps us covered. It right now, the way things going, especially in the White House right now, is horrible.
Mhm.
Um, Biden and Kamala, which I had a pleasure of meeting her
Mhm.
this in April. But they're doing what they can. But people don't understand that their hands are tied. They can't do very much. Everything has to be passed through the House. So if the House is not passing it, then they really can't get things done, and that's the part of the problem, or the part that people don't understand. They think that the president can go in and say, "Hey, boom, this needs to be done. Boom, this needs to be done." And it
Mhm.
doesn't work that way. It actually have to be decided by the House.
But right when you said, and then you have somebody who's you saying they still to this day call the Grim Reaper, with being Mitch McConnell. You said in the Senate. You said it's like me. I've always been a type of person. I believe in term limits because you said like some of those people are too old and they're not hip to fresh ideas. Because at the end
Right.
of the day, you saying
Mhm.
like things change. You saying like
Right.
you can sit there. Oh, I'm conservative, but you saying but then you worried about other people that are progressive. But this is not 1950 anymore. It is 2023. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? And it's just it is insane to me. Like they literally want to sit there and treat it like it's like I said, 1950. My apologies. I'm turning off my phone.
No, you're good.
It started making noise out of nowhere. But and they just like I said, it's not 1950 anymore. It's 2023. And so, like, why do you think a lot of these Republicans are so afraid to progress in life as you actually do? Because you go from being a baby to being an adolescent to being a teenager to being a young adult to being an adult. Why are they so afraid of progressing?
Well, with most Republicans, if you do your background, they're all wealthy and pretty much well off.
Mm,
Now, you do have the bottom of the barrel of the Republicans, but for the majority of them, they have the power, they hold the power. So if they have the power and it's working for them, why not change? You know, is the Democrats has got to get on board to get the stepping stone so they can get ahead. Now, I'm
mm,
not saying all Democrats because I know some wealthy Democrats, but I'm just saying that as a whole, we need to get together and start educating each other, starting in the communities where the struggle is real and where the people are being misled. We have to get some activists. I believe in the Black Panthers. I know people be like, what? But yeah, what they did for our community as a whole was the best thing that came about. And I just think we need to start doing that on a local level, getting our young children, teaching them how to grow fruits and vegetables, how to survive out here so we don't have to depend on a grocery store. You know, show them how to sew so we don't have to go to the store all the time and purchase our clothing,
mm,
or start buying back black, you know. Um, I was just telling my kids about Black Wall Street. I had the pleasure of seeing it last year, going out there and looking at that, how it just was destroyed. And if it had been still going today, man, I can only imagine where we would be if it still was here. And so we need to rebuild and get things going back on track and let history be known exactly how it was, and not just the bad but the good as well.
mm.
So I'm all for it.
Absolutely. And you said now, like you look at like a lot of different type of things. You said like we see certain things that are coming about, and because words matter. You said it's like because back in the day we would say stay woke, or you said we would mean you say, hey, you understand what's going on. Now
Right.
the Republican Party has literally bastardized that word, and they use it for anything that's not white. Now
Right.
you said I'm a huge gamer. You know what I'm saying? And I was excited as everybody else was when we got the trailer for GTA 6. You couldn't tell me nothing. Of course, I was heartbroken when they said it wasn't coming out to 2025, but that's neither here nor there. But as everything progressed, and I start looking at everything, and I start watching different YouTubers, and they put out their content, and just looking at the comment section, it was like, "Oh my god, you said, oh, GTA has gone woke." What the fuck are you talking about? It's like because it's it's set in a city called Vice City, which is a portrayal of Miami. Like Miami ain't diverse as fuck, but they're
Right.
like, "Oh my god, it's so many black people," and it's just like, do you deal with that? And you said in your city, like with people just like the blatant racism that that you see? Because I mean, we see it on the internet, but do you actually hear about it from your constituents?
Well, where do I begin? Trump made it real. He made them come out of the woodwork. I'm just gonna say that he made it to where they're more comfortable, displaying that they don't like, people of color.
Mhm.
I think it has gotten worse, since he was in office. But I also have seen uh people that's not of color take a stand, you know, and it's about education because a lot of them don't know,
Mhm.
you know. Um, where I'm at, my community is very small. Um, so it's like we know everybody and we know who racist and who's not racist, or who really they'll talk to you or deal with you but don't really want to deal with you in that sense. So we kind of know, but it's some places like my fiance, he's from Alabama, so they still have, you know, towns where they can't go to at night,
Mm.
or can't drive through, and it's real, and it's still like that today, and it's 2023 going into 2024, and it's still places like that to where they look at you crazy, or give you that look, and you kind of know when you're from up north, they don't get it as much as the people in the south, but you can pretty much tell, where to go or where not to go. I actually one time I was working in, I think it's called Gainesville, Georgia. Yeah,
Mhm.
Gainesville, Georgia. I was doing secondary financing there for the Ashley Furniture Store, and a guy, that was my first time ever been called the N word in my face,
Mm.
and I never knew how I was going to react to that. Oh, I was furious. I had to leave work that day because I was so mad. But after I got done talking about his mama, his grandma, his great grandma, and I mean, I just went all the way left because I'm
Mhm.
like in my face, and the only thing I was doing was passing out flyers because the location had just opened up, especially for secondary financing.
Mhm.
And this guy went in, and so did I, and I was ready to fight, and he wasn't. He was kind of like he wasn't used to somebody responding back to him,
Mhm.
and so that was a big thing. And my boss was just like, "Just go home, Katrina." I was like, "Yeah, because we don't do that. Where I'm from, we don't do that."
Right.
And so that was my first experience, having somebody to actually say it in my face.
Mhm.
So that kind of made my blood boil.
I understand that because I live in Ohio right now, and
Uh-huh.
I've I've lived in the South my entire life and didn't really experience that using like it, and so it was like a complete curveball when I came up here thinking, okay, we're further north, so using like that racism that I was worried about in the South that I did not get. I'm
Uh-huh.
not gonna have to worry about it here, but I used to when I first got here and I ended up getting a job with a garbage company,
Uh-huh.
and my name around the shop was that colored boy.
What? Oh my God.
Needless to say, I didn't keep that job long because yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was insane. And people just like I moved on from that company to a trucking company, and there was a driver. He was like, "Yeah, my son," and you saying he just married his the mother of his children. She's the sweetest colored girl you ever meet in your life. And I'm like, what?
Well, but in the north, they don't know what to say.
Mm,
They think that's okay, better than saying, because they'll that's all they said, color girl. That's what they say in the South, and that's okay. So when you're not used to it, does sound strange or like it's not appropriate, but that's how they're taught.
mm.
It could be worse.
I mean, true, big facts. You saying because I mean it is what it is. But you saying,
But if you teach them and tell them, because some of them don't know.
mm,
I got this guy that I know. He runs a restaurant in my town, and me and him having a conversation, and he didn't know.
mm,
That's what he used to say too. And he said that one of his friends had to pull him aside, which was a black guy, and say, "Hey, you don't have to say that. We friends, and we African American, or whatever." And so he didn't know it.
mm.
He grew up. He didn't know. That's just what he heard. So he didn't know was something wrong with it. So sometimes it's just all about educating them because they don't know.
It is, and they're like, now we're gonna shift gears from that, using because there's so many other things like going on in the world. You said, because but how do you reach you saying the young female population to try to get them you to try to steer them in a better direction when you have use it because, like I said, I don't care what you listen to, whether it's Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Sexy Red, any of the, you say, hey. But a lot of these kids, they turn on these phones or they tablets or on YouTube or whatever, whatnot, and they want to emulate that. Like that's that what works for these ladies that I just
Mhm.
mentioned is probably not going to work for you. You said you could be out there saying what Suki Hanum is saying and all that. Yeah, you're gonna probably get passed around, and that's all
Right.
you're gonna get out of it. So like, how do you mentor young ladies to okay, yeah, you can listen to that, but that's not the path you want to go down.
It's not even okay for them to listen to it.
I
I mean,
agree.
if you're over
I'm scared.
18, then you can make those decisions. But I just feel like, the minors know because it's corrupting their mind in so many ways. And it's crazy because when I was younger, different songs now, and I'm like, it meant that because that we're discussing what's that song? Ride the White Horse.
Hmm.
And this whole time I didn't know he was talking about snorting, drugs. I didn't know that. So, we singing that song thinking, okay, it's cool, but the whole time but they hid it. And now it's just out in the open,
Hmm.
So instead of, being private about it, they don't care. They're just letting the world know like it's cool, like it's not cool, but it started at home. You only can do so much on the outside, and when they go back inside, meaning their home, and if that's what they're seeing and that's what they're hearing, then they only going to be a product of their environment.
Hmm.
So it's up to the parents. And so I say you got to start with the parents in the home because they're getting younger now. I mean, 12 and 13 years old having children. So we have
Hmm.
to bring the parents in, nurture them, teach them, because a lot of them they don't know. And it's crazy because I know women that's 40 and 50 years old and have no clue about certain things that you think was common sense that they don't know about. So I
Hmm.
think it's just like I said, going into the communities, getting personal, letting them, come, seeing if they'll invite you into their home and talking to them and just being genuine. But we don't have enough genuine people that can really go to them and say, hey, look, I know our grandma and great grandma, and that's over. That's out the window. Let's come together and get some, make it normal for these kids to go out and just have clean fun,
Hmm.
and study twerking or doing the splits and twerking, and you know it's different, but it start with us. We have to start educating each other, and I think that's the biggest problem, is not being educated and not knowing. They always say you want to hide something, put it in a book.
Big
you
fact.
know
Now, you said like touching on you saying your point about songs that you didn't know that you said what it actually meant. Somebody
hmm
in somebody in my comment section or somebody watching this is going to be today years old when you realize that the song "The Electric Slide" is about a vibrator.
yes,
Now,
that one too.
yeah, now I'm like you seriously. Now you're not gonna be able to hear the song and like even think about it when you said without think. That's some bullshit. We was literally in elementary school doing the electric slide.
You hear me? At every family reunion, that's the good, clean song that you. Even if you went to your great auntie's house and they play that song,
Mm,
it was okay. Even if they were the motherboard or missionary, that was okay.
mm,
But now I look at it like, what were we doing? Like, oh my God. And so it's a
mhm,
lot of songs, but like I said, it was hidden. You know what I'm saying? So it was hidden, and I think that was cool
mm.
because it wasn't out in the open. I just think that now it's just especially what's her name? Um, look, don't kill me in the comment section, but Sexy Red, is that
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, that's her name.
Yeah, like we don't have to know that. Just let whoever find out on their own. You don't have to tell the world. So I just think it's just different now. There's
Oh,
just no secrets.
right. And I just want to make a quick PSA real quick to anybody that you say follows my content or tries to get in my DMs. I was able to see Sexy Red's hoo ha for free. So what in the fuck makes you think I'm gonna pay to see your goofy ass? Knock it off. Anyway, moving on.
Oh wow.
That's neither here nor there. But I'm just like
Okay.
you said, we talk our shit over here. Now,
Okay.
you said, it was like I guess there's some controversy going on, like, because we're gonna stay on music for a second. There's some
Okay.
controversy going on because Fabulous was basically talking about all the women rappers now are talking about the same thing. and Glorilla using responded, which and I think how she responded was very poignant and educated. Using it was like, uh, we're rapping about our experience, y'all rapping using we're rapping about using getting money and using yes, having fun and dancing and everything, but y'all rap about killing everybody and doing drugs and using and abusing women. So which is a stark contrast because if you think of like most male rappers, except for like a using a J. Cole or a Kendrick Lamar, using somebody
Hmm.
like that, everybody's literally talking about the same thing. So I think Glorilla actually, like I said, made a poignant point. Using like so what do you think about using like, hearing that?
So I'm not up to date on all of the latest rap, but I can say that the content could be changed. The content could be changed a whole lot. Like I said, it's changed so much, and it's like they all been rapping about the same thing for the last 30 years. Like, come on, switch it up.
Mhm,
Um, I've been trying to put my kids on Pastor Mike. Like, if
mhm.
you just want to listen to some rap music, listen to good, clean rap music. You know, um, I just think it's beginning to be too much on some of the songs. Some of them are okay because they're catchy, you know. But my thing is, they should be mindful. Would you allow your children to listen to that?
Mhm.
The music that they make, would they allow their children to listen to that?
You're
That's my thing.
mhm. Decent, like, things I find funny is like certain TikTok videos, is like, especially, like, the older generation, like, 'cause there's still some big mamas out here, and,
Right.
it's like it was one where, you saying the son was talking well, the grandson was talking to his grandmother, and you saying he was talking. I guess the word "wop" came up in the conversation, and the grandmother had no idea what it meant, and it basically she was like, "Yeah," you said, like, something, but it was, the grandmother ended up saying, "Yeah, I put this WAP on anybody," but the grandmother had no idea it meant what it meant, so because he tried to clear it up and try to say it meant something else. I can't remember
Right.
exactly what he said, but she was literally in the video talking about, "Yeah, I put this WAP on, blah, blah, blah," and it's like and the kids are just dying laughing, and grandma has no idea what the hell she's actually
Oh
saying.
wow.
It's just funny to me because, like, I mean, like, especially in the age we are with the TikTok and the internet and it's just everybody's trying to go viral. So let's figure out the stupidest thing we can do to put it on the internet. Like right now, I put up a post, and it's gonna tie into what I was saying in a second. But it's like I put up a post, like I think about a week ago, and it was saying that you ladies, you said found a stepladder to tape your phone to the ceiling to do the ceiling challenge, but your smoke detector has been beeping all year.
That's a good one.
It's like
I agree.
You it it's funny because, like I said, a lot of the people you see doing the stealing challenge are grown women, and
And don't forget to add the ceiling fan.
and man, your ceiling fan has not been wiped since before you moved in there. I mean, it is all
Fact.
bad. You just it's like because and back when we were growing up, if you weren't there to see the fight, you just missed it. And
Right.
the story and however anybody's going to tell it to you is not going to be exactly how it happened. You see, now
Mhm.
everybody's got these phones and automatically you're on the internet. And you just like if you go into a school and you're trying to teach kids or tell them about how dangerous these phones could be, how life altering these phones and the content that you are recording can be, you said like, how do you approach that? Because like a lot of these kids, they don't want to hear that. So how do
Mhm.
you approach those using particular people?
I'm just stepping into the grandma mode. My oldest grandson, he's 5. My youngest granddaughter, she just turned 1.
Mhm,
So right now, I'm dealing with um, the two different worlds of him being with us on the mom side, and then him going to his dad's side.
mhm,
So I'm trying to adjust the way what he's accustomed to home at home, and then compared to his dad house.
mhm,
We had got a call. I mean, the other day we found a picture in his phone with his middle finger sticking up.
mhm.
And like he was doing it like he knew what he was doing. I mean, straight flipping off the bird, had the thumb up with it and everything. So um I don't know. I'm trying to keep hope alive for our generation just to come, but man, it's rough. It's really rough. And we're gonna have to get a couple you good men together and try to get these boys in line before they become young knucklehead men that don't know what to do. You know, it's bad enough that we have grown men that don't even know how to treat a woman or have the qualities of a good man. And I'm not talking about working and paying all the bills because that don't work now. I'm talking about somebody that's going to make sure they um, have a good, positive impact on the female and the male that's in the house. So
Mhm.
I'm saying show them that it's 50-50. The roles are reversed and they're combined or joined together, however you want to put it, that the man cook, clean, wash dishes, and do it all as well as the woman doing it. You know, it's like taking turns or whatever works for you, but just letting them know that you can't just get by with, fried chicken wings and rotels all day.
Or you
You
saying,
know,
or your bum ass, you saying, you saying, chicken Alfredo. You saying y'all keep that bullshit.
yeah, basically. Or the chicken, what is it? Rotel chicken, something. I mean, make some hearty meals, get the beans back going.
Hmm.
Beans and cornbread with a piece of fried chicken on the side. Or pork chops and rice smothered in gravy.
Hmm.
Get you some biscuits. If you can't do it from scratch, get you some canned biscuits. Some salmon patties in the morning for breakfast with the biscuits and the syrup. I
Hell
mean,
yeah.
not just pizza rolls and hot pockets.
Man.
So
And I'm just because you put you saying Doritos with ground beef, that does not mean that it's nachos. Knock it off.
you hear me? Thank you. I mean, let them know. I,
Right.
I mean, I don't know what else to do. Do we need bring the kitchen, what is it, homemade back into the schools?
We
I've been
definitely
lo- I've been saying that for the longest in my area. Like we need to be cooking, showing these kids how to cook, how to sew, how to clean properly. You
mm,
know, so we definitely need it.
like the fact that you brought that up. Actually, you can bring something me and my wife and actually a lot of my friends have discussed on using a regular basis. Why do we not have classes like finance classes on how to balance a checkbook? How do you send hold a credit card and actually build your credit? Why do we not have using curriculum like that for our children?
The same reason why they don't even know how to write in cursive.
Which was goofy as hell, but that's neither here
What's
nor there.
what, what's good as a checkbook when you can't even sign your name?
Facts. It's like because you say you look at some of the more affluent, let's say using Caucasian communities, using there's a litany of people that they're teaching these kids these things. Using to, but in like more using urban communities, kids are still using books from 10 years ago. Using their desks are 10 years old. Using like some of these schools still have asbestos in them. You know what I mean? It's like I just never understood why we can find so much money for goofy shit like that has nothing to do with us. It means like using my prayers go out to everybody over there and using Israel and Palestine and everything, all that conflict going on over there. But you said we got people dying here every day.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we sent over $100 billion over to Ukraine, but we've got veterans sleeping under bridges.
But see, stuff like that start local. That start with your local government. It start with the little people because we allow it.
Hmm.
We have to stop allowing stuff. That's just like as parents. You hear that kid saying mug or dang. The next is damn. You
Hmm.
know, the next day will be cussing and doing whatever. You allow them to come in late from school or get in trouble at school, then they're gonna get in trouble as um teenagers. And you still allow them to get in trouble. Then as an adult, they're gonna end up in jail. So
Hmm.
it's what we teach them at a young age. So we have to start now, start nurturing and teaching. Um, it's horrible because most parents they tired.
Hmm.
They don't want to do it, or they rather go to the club or XYZ with their friends than to sit down and really teach their children. Like you can do a poll of how many parents sit down or how much time they spend in a from Monday to Thursday or Monday to Friday, how much time they spend with their children doing actually work or teaching them something
Hmm.
outside of what they have in the classroom.
You see, like one thing I try to do with my son because you said pray for me because I have 5 children and 4 of them mofos are girls. So my bless my post son heart. You said they gang up on him every day. It's all bad. But you said one thing I try to make sure he does. I try to make sure he's on his reading. You said he's like he he gets picked on a lot by his sister. So usually we're trying to deal with the anger issues and everything like that. I was actually outside yesterday with him and his little friend throwing the football, and if he doesn't catch the football, he gets so mad, like to the point where he's ready to fight. And I'm like, "Yo, son, I'm not. I haven't gone anywhere. I'm still out here to throw the ball. You have the ability to catch some more." And or like if he's playing Roblox, this fool he cannot play the game without screaming at the TV. It is just insane to me. I was like, "Son, you have to calm down." You seem like it's not that serious. If it's that difficult for you, or if it's making you that angry, turn it off. You should not let something else that you something like that get you to the point where you're ready to literally throw a controller and possibly get your head knocked off because them controllers ain't cheap. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I definitely try to give my son using a lot of using attention as well as my daughters as well. But it's like with him, because when I'm gone, like I said, he gets picked on. So I try to balance, try to give him balance. He was like, try to teach him that anger is not going to get you nowhere out in these streets. It's it's gonna be a detriment to you. And then also sometimes I have to hold myself accountable because for whatever reason, I don't know what their friends or actually all these little kids, their issues are today. They don't like to bathe. I don't know if it's just the city that I'm in. These kids, they want to put a hoodie on and not bathe and just keep it moving. So like anytime the kids will have friends over, I find myself going, man, one of you little assholes stank. Y'all need to go home and take a bath. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me your parents' number because I'm gonna tell them. But well, then my son ended up getting suspended off the bus a few weeks ago because he gets on the bus and repeats what Pop said. Man, can you please put me somewhere? They asses stink.
And how old is he?
He's 9. And so it was like I couldn't be mad at him for saying it because you say, hey, you kept it real, but son, damn man. It's like, but I had to I had to hold myself accountable because
That's right.
he said because I say it on the regular. You said, but I'm grown, but that's neither here nor there because they're doing what they see and not actually what we tell them anymore.
Hmm.
You know, it's like now I want to get to a different question.
Okay.
As mayor, what has been the greatest accomplishment that you've been able to achieve in your tenure as mayor?
Let's see. Um, Part of the beautification of the
Mm,
city, we had a lot of dilapidated houses that needed to be torn down. So we're working on that. We had property that was overgrown, so we're working on that. Um, we just got a grant for 2 million to redo our water tower, so I'm definitely proud about that.
okay.
This is my second term, my 5th year, but it's just like day one because we're so far behind. Um, so right now we're in the cleanup process. So we're almost done with the cleaning up part, meaning in the house and outside, meaning the files and getting the paperwork properly, filed and turned in on time
Mm,
and sent in. And so we're working on that part. But as a whole, I'm learning that we sometimes are our biggest failures or our downfalls.
mm, okay. Now, I sent you a video. Were you able to check that video out? You
I did.
said no. For those that are not familiar, you said there's a YouTube channel by the name of Pink Book Lessons. I will make sure I drop it down in the description box down below. Now she does case studies on using a lot of different people, and this particular case study was on the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, who has dubbed the City Girl Mayor. Just and basically what this woman has done, she's literally is like squandering taxpayer dollars. It's like she took a trip down to Alabama and cost the taxpayers of Dalton, Illinois, you said over $22,000. She spent she went to Vegas for it, you said, and spent the taxpayer dollars out in Vegas. She spent over $150,000 on a Tahoe using for her own personal use out of taxpayer dollars. And then you said now when you hear stories like that of you saying elected officials becoming corrupt like that, you said how does that hit you? Because for the simple fact that she's black, it already makes us look bad. But how does that hit you when you hear stories like that?
Um, I always say it's just like with money. When you're not used to something and you receive it, you abuse it.
Mhm.
That's just like with law enforcement. When the kid get picked on in school, he becomes a police officer. So now he's a big bully with a badge to give him the authority to be a bully. Give him to to reverse the role from being bullied to being the bully. So it's kind of like same thing. I read that and I was just like in awe, like who allowed it? And so accountability is what's important. So I think she did it, but also the councilmen have to be responsible for that as well, because she shouldn't be allowed to have any finances like that unless it's approved by the councilman.
Right. And like they was also talking about how she's basically locked the entire board out of being able to see what she's spending money on. You saying like, how does that happen? And you saying like, where do you go to get checks and balances on somebody that's that rogue?
That shouldn't be allowed. That's why she have a mayor pro tem, somebody who does they can actually have access to that. There's no way unless they look into their ordinances to see exactly what they can and cannot do. I don't think, because should nothing be approved without the board approving it. Like she can't just go in and say, hey, this is what's going to be done. It has to be voted upon. They probably have to check their state statutes and go to their go to their who's over the state statutes in their state to see what can be done, because I never heard of that before. All my decisions that I make, I have to give it to the board, and the board has to approve it. My board is great. We sometimes we agree to disagree, but we do sit down and we talk about it, and we do the pros and the cons and see if it's going to work. Usually they say, how do you feel? And and I'll tell them how I feel, and they tell me how they feel. Sometimes it's a go and sometimes it's not. So we're working on a very limited money. So we ain't got $100,000 to spend. I went to Washington in April for the Black Mayors conference, which it'll be in Atlanta next year. So I hope I'll see. Well, I'll be back in Atlanta. I'll be in Atlanta next year. So hopefully I can see some of our old people back there. But it will be held in Atlanta. And so my city didn't have the money to send me. My hotel room by itself was over $2,500.
Jesus.
So yeah, so at night, I think, because I stayed down there 5 nights, and then hotel travel as far as the plane ride, getting clothes, and money for food. They couldn't afford to send me. I had to raise the money to go. So that was another thing. So I'm just like, she has that money, and all she, when you see that, sometimes if you're not used to it, it's greed. And that's what I was telling you. You have to have it in your heart, because if you don't, it'll overpower you. All you see is dollar signs. And if it's right there and it's right there in the palm of your hands, yeah.
Okay, now I did have another question, because I've heard about it. You saying politicians on a national level, but it's like she's the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, but also the city supervisor of Thornton, Illinois. How was that even possible?
I don't know. I think that's kind of like a conflict of interest, because that's 2 municipalities. So I didn't think you could do that, because as mayor, we have to live in our community. You can't live outside of your community and govern the community, if that makes sense. So I don't understand how she got by with that, unless, I don't know how that works. I'm gonna have to dig into that a little bit more, because you shouldn't be allowed to. It seems like it'd be a conflict of interest, running 2 cities, basically.
Yeah.
Having that much authority or power over one city, and then also having authority over the next sister city. Because I know where Dalton is. I used to work in Dalton, actually. So I know exactly where that's at.
And Thornton is actually literally not far from there either. So
oh no, it's just like when you go to Noonan and go to Peachtree City. So yeah, so it's not far apart at all. It's right there by each other.
As a mayor, what is the scope of your power? Because we see these stories, and do you ever see these stories and be like, man, what would I do if I was the mayor of that town? Like, I'll bring up an example. That officer in Alabama who tased that black man who was changing his tire, and asked him for his ID. Of course, he was like, "I'm not committing or being suspected of committing a crime, so I'm not giving you nothing." Got put in handcuffs, got tased, charged with drugs, using a felon with a firearm, all kind of using foolishness. And all ended up, all the charges had to be dropped because none of that was true. All he did was say, that I don't have to give you my ID because I'm not doing anything. Like, you as mayor, if you had a cop on using your city's police force, how would you address a situation like that?
I mean, and that's overusing your power. We get a lot of it. Unfortunately, usually people of color are usually the ones that have to take the hit from it. I don't think it was appropriate at all. It just depends on what state you're in as far as protocol. My thing is, if you're not doing nothing, just comply.
Mhm.
The easiest thing is comply. You know, my thing, I would have been like, look, let me get this tire off. I'll give you whatever you need. I'm just trying to get out this, out the way for safety so nobody hit me. Can
Mhm.
you just allow me to change the tire? Then I'll give you whatever, identification that you need. And, it's not being weak, it's not bowing down, it's just complying, compliance. That's it.
Mhm.
So I look at both stands. Was he wrong? Yeah, he was wrong. But at the same time, could he comply, would have been handled different? Maybe. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes communication and then the way you said it. Because I'm pretty sure he was agitated, aggravated, because you're out there changing the tire.
Yeah.
You can't call AAA no more because it takes them 3 and 4 hours just to get there. So, having to go in your trunk, move everything around, depending on what kind of vehicle you have to go into the bottom of your car. So he probably was frustrated. So it probably was the tone. And
Mhm.
people don't understand it. Sometimes it's always the tone and how you deliver it. You can say the same thing in different tones and it means something totally different.
Right.
Because a what's up can be a what's up. You want to fight? A what's up could be, hey, what's up? So, it just depends on the tone.
Mhm. Now, each cities, all these different cities have so many different resources, and you just mentioned about AAA using
Hmm.
taking 3 and 4 hours. Using like, how would you implement using maybe putting like I guess a subsection of like DOT that could, I guess, circumvent those 3 or 4 hours that it would potentially take AAA to change a tire to where our tax dollars could go to something that actually helps the people like that. You know what I mean?
Right. And it just depends on your area. Like my area is so small that, we don't have access to that.
Mhm.
But in other areas like Atlanta, you drive, you always you see a truck. They have actually, it's for emergency purposes. You
Mhm.
call them and they'll come, or I think it's like a pound something.
Mhm.
So I think that'd be great. I mean, but you have to put it in motion. So that's what I'm saying. It start locally. If that's something that somebody needs to go speak up. Go to the board meeting. That's the problem too. A lot of people don't even go to a board meeting. Some people can't even tell you. Do a poll. See how many people know when their board meeting is. Have have you, matter of fact, have you ever been to a board meeting?
I have not. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
See what I'm saying? Like, how can you change something if you don't go? How
Mhm.
are you going to know if you're not informed? So that's the thing. So you don't go to these meetings. So they sit in the meetings and change and do whatever they want to because guess what? There's no voice to say yay or nay. So they
Mhm.
making the decisions based on how they feel, and not how you feel. And usually the decisions that are made are based on how they feel and how they're living. They don't care about you or your children. They just care about them and their children. So that's another problem too. And I tell people it started locally. A lot of people don't go and voice their opinion. That's even like at the school boards. They don't do that.
Mhm.
I'm guilty of that. I can tell you how many school board meetings I went to. I went
Yeah.
to a few when my daughter was involved, but it's like until something happened, then we
Mhm.
just sit back and chill and we just wait for it to happen. So, and I'm guilty of that myself. So I need to be, you know, I'm holding myself accountable to do better. So I just need everybody to do better. Just like we link up and go to the club or link up and go out to eat or, to the mall or whatever it is that we go to, we need to link up and go to a council meeting or a school board meeting so we can make sure that our children are getting what they're needing in school. We got to go to the school board meeting to get the cursive writing back in there. We got to go to the school board to make sure our children are getting the finance classes put into their curriculum. We got to go to the school board to make sure that our children are not being bullied, or we having a lot of problems now with the teachers sleeping with the students. So we need to be more involved, but we're never going to be involved if we don't show up, if we don't go.
Now, using as a parent and also using when you wear the mayor hat, and you see those stories where teachers are violating children, using it's like, how do you, for one, because as a parent, you saying you're livid, but as a mayor, you have to have a different type. You have to approach it differently. How do you balance using between the two? Because regardless, it's not your child, but using as a mother, you would feel a certain way, just like as a father, I would feel a certain way. But you saying like as the mayor, you got to handle it a little more professionally because you saying you as a parent want to shoot a fade with somebody,
No,
but
no, I'm a mother first.
mhm,
So I sympathize with the mother.
mhm,
Also, it starts in the home
mhm,
because most of the time when that happens, that child is not getting what they're needing at home. So they're going somewhere else looking for it.
mhm,
My pastor said all the time, if you're not giving your kid love, she's gonna go to that pimp or that older guy to give her that guidance that she needs. So it starts at home. So everybody gotta be held accountable. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm not. I'm not saying it's right, but it's been done for years. It's been going on, but somebody got to be held accountable, and it started at home. So are you loving on your child enough? Are you spending more time with your children? And I'm talking about watching TV in the same room is not really spending time with them. I'm talking about quality time. Cut the TV off. Sit by me. Tell me how your day was.
mhm.
Who is your best friend? Because that's important. You know, because if you know who they're surrounding themselves with, then you know what they're putting into your child.
Right,
See, people don't understand that children are being influenced. Most of the time, they're good children, but they're influenced by their friends. So that's important to know who their best friend is. If their best friend daddy is Pookie, and Pookie on the block, you need to know that, because now what if that Pookie's daughter and your daughter friends, and she giving your daughter something that Pookie got?
right.
So now your daughter popping pills or smoking weed or whatever. So it's important to have that communication. It's to keep that communication open. It's important to ask questions,
Mhm.
the right questions to your children. It starts at home because it
Absolutely.
could be avoided. Hey, son, what you do today? Oh, I hung out with teacher blah blah. Okay, what you and teacher blah blah? What y'all talk about? See, them the questions that you need to be asking. So y'all
Mhm.
talked about what? And see if it's appropriate, inappropriate, and you go from there. But if you don't have that communication or that quality time with your child, how would you know? So again, it started at home. Now, I'm not saying it's right because it's wrong. And yeah, you be wanting to thump them. But at the end of the day, it started at home because something that child is lacking to where he's going outside to seek it.
Right. Now, you said one of the conservative talking points that they were talking about in the last Republican debate was about parental rights. Now, you said some of these states they've been able to pass, and some haven't. But it's basically, when it comes to gender identity, if the student tells the teacher that they want to identify as something else, that a lot of these states are saying that they should keep it away from the parent. I
No,
don't agree with that. And
no.
like I was going to ask you, what do you feel about that particular thing? I think that is weird. You said to keep something like
Listen,
that away from the parent.
when you make decisions is when you start paying your bills. So as long as you under my roof, I make the rules and the decision. So again, it's starting with these parents because you got to put your foot down somewhere. So you
Mhm,
can't allow your child to tell you what they're going to do. That's where it stopped right there.
mhm,
Because growing up, let me tell my grandma my teeth to be gone.
mhm.
I'll be waking up next week, or maybe next month, maybe never. You know what I'm saying? So have to start being strict again. We got to start making sure that our kids know that we mean business. When we say no, that's just what it is. There's nothing after it. It ain't no, but it ain't no, it's just no.
It's like anybody else, they would possibly look at it like I'm disrespectful to my wife when I say this, because the kids go to line. Well, mom said I could, and my response is, I don't give a fuck what your mother said. I said no.
Well, maybe not like that. So maybe, hey, I'll talk to your mom and I'll let her know, but the answer is no. Or close the door. Hey, look, let's agree to that we make decisions together.
Mhm.
Then we don't have to have that point. But again, start at home, close the door. Hey, look, this is what we're gonna do. Little Jimmy want to go do this, but I told him he could, but you told him no. So let's come to a common place. Okay, have you done your homework? Is your room clean? Okay,
Mhm.
we came together and we changed our mind. So the answer is yes or no. Collectively though, because
Mhm.
if they see you feuding or fighting, they're going to use that against you.
But see, it's the
So
funny thing because you said when my kids are funny as hell. So when they use that line, they haven't even spoke to their mother, and I know this. So that's why now my answer has evolved to what I said. I don't give a fuck what your mother said because I know she didn't say shit. You
well, no, you got to handle it differently though. So you can't do that now. So yeah, so that has to be changed. So it has to be, tell your mom to come here and you come here. Let's settle this.
mhm,
Did you ask your mom? Because for one, you're lying. So now it's starting with a little lie. So when that lie becomes big, then we have a problem because you're creating something here. You're
mhm,
creating you creating a bigger problem. So as the child get older, they're gonna start developing a more bigger lie, and the lie gonna become bigger and bigger to where it's gonna be a real big problem. To where you're gonna be getting that phone call. You want to select this, accept this call, press 1, 2, 3 or whatever. So then you don't want to have that issue. So yeah, I think
mhm.
now is the time to sit down and have that conversation where, hey, this is what it's got to be. So
Absolutely.
so I
Now,
so I'll say you got to watch that because I tell my fiance that all the time. I be like, look, the little white lies, they catch up and they get bigger. They become black lies. So meaning the
yeah,
ones you cover up, because you say one, you got to tell another one and another one.
mhm. Now you said like I like to talk about empathy and and like
Okay.
putting yourself in other people's shoes.
Hmm.
Now you saying like when you would hear everything that like right after George Floyd and how they were tearing up Atlanta,
Uh-huh.
and then you said the Rashid Brooks, you said the guy that
Uh-huh.
got a shot outside of falling asleep at a Wendy's. You said like as a mayor, like how do you saying like sit there and because I'm pretty sure it hits you like, man, that woman's job must be hard because like I said, like you said, your city is small, but then you're the mayor of Atlanta. Like, like how do you empathize? You said coming from a smaller market to the person that's in the bigger market that you said is literally under fire 24/7.
Well, when I went to the Black Mayors Association, our conference in Washington, I was able to sit down with the mayor of Buffalo. You remember the Buffalo shooting at the supermarket? I
Mhm,
was able to sit down with him and talk to him about it. And it's crazy because, and then one of our mayors couldn't even come because that's when the little boy had just got shot through the door in Kansas City, Missouri.
mhm.
So he wasn't even able to come. He came one day, but then he had to fly back out because it had just happened. So I think like we got to start screening these police officers because you can tell the triggers. You know who's capable of doing something, that's not protocol. I think everybody should be held responsible, and I don't think no one should get off. Um, but like I said, as a police force or the head, the chiefs, they got to start doing proper protocol. They got to start getting these evaluations done, seeing how they're, just simple stuff. Because I was just saying that the other day that counseling is good. Everybody think of if you got a counselor that you're crazy. No, counseling helps.
Mhm.
Especially if you deal with death or you deal with different situations, it really helps. So I think that if they see a counselor, because people on SWAT, they have to see a counselor every other week.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they kill people.
I mean, facts.
I mean, literally, that's what they do. There ain't no negotiation most of the time. They headshot,
Right.
so it's over. But yeah, so I think that that's important. So I think, um, can you still hear me?
I can still hear you. Yeah.
Okay. I thought my AirPods went out, but that's important. So I think evaluation. I think that's what they need to start doing. Evaluating the officers and making sure their head space is clear.
Mhm.
Because most of them saying, "Well, I didn't know. I thought." You know, okay, do they need glasses? You know, if they're intimidated, move them to a different area. You know, let the people of color protect the people of color. I know that sounds wrong, but you know, if that's what going to keep everybody safe, then do that. You
Mhm.
know, let them protect each other and see how that works. Let everybody
Absolutely.
police their own areas.
Absolutely. Now, before we get up out of here, I got one more question. It was like, when it comes to guns with for civilians. Now, me, I've been a truck driver for over 20 years, and every 2 years I have to get a physical. They use and like to make sure that my body's still in condition enough to be able to drive this vehicle. Now, of course, we sit there. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen a truck driver or two, and a lot of them are you saying like are overweight, and you saying a lot of them you saying don't look like they are healthy enough to do anything, but that's neither here nor there. But we have to have that physical each year, and a doctor has to approve us that we're healthy enough. And sometimes when it comes to the overweight and out of shape drivers, they instead of having to you saying renew their DOT card every 2 years, some of them have to do it every 6 months. Now, me personally, I've always thought about because a lot of times the people that do these mass shootings and things like that, you saying like are done with legal firearms a lot of the time. Using, of course, Chicago's an outlier. Of course, we're not talking about that, but we're talking about with legal firearms. I I've always thought that there should be something more than just a background check, it's like a mental acuity test or something like that to literally check on your mental health. Using like now, what's your policy and what do you think that could be better implemented to help you send with gun control?
Um, that's a touchy situation because, like I said, I hold on one second. Take your phone. So I'm not against guns. You know,
Me neither.
I'm all for it.
I
The
thought,
people that
man, I
have
was like,
them,
"Oh, no, she is not finna pull it out." I was like, "Yo,
yeah, no, I got it, but I ain't no. But
look,
I'm
little Dub,
definitely
tell her using it's alright. She's not gonna pull it out, Dub. Okay, all right.
yeah. I got you. But I'm all for it. I mean, it could have been avoided because every time you talk to the parents or the husband or the wife, they always say the same thing. Well, he said, well, they said, so they had some light bulb went off in their head to say, hey, something's going on. But you know, I think they should have reached out to somebody to talk to them before it
Mm,
was done. And a lot of places, I know you can't have security everywhere, but we just got to start having security. And I think one of the places did have security, but they was unarmed. So what's good is security if you're not armed? I never understood that anyway.
I don't
Because what you
either.
gonna do? Hit me with a flashlight?
Uh, top
How you
place
gonna hit
in
the
the
bullet?
world, Greg.
You know, so I never understood that, but I think we just got to get a better grip on it, on gun control, period. But not allowing them also to have as many like automatic weapons. I'm against that because why do you need 100 rounds? My thing, if you can't shoot in 7, then you don't need a gun anyway. I mean, that's just
Dude,
my thoughts.
what's it? My brother, you saying my brother, he had a saying to that. He was like, "If you can't get your point across in more than 7 shots, using whatever you say after that is not important, or something along those lines."
Exactly.
Is it
Exactly. That's my point. My thing, if you can't hit your target 7 rounds, you don't need no gun. And
right?
so I think that they should be able to pass a test like that. So they should have to go to a gun range. And if
Mm,
they can't hit that bullseye at least 3 times out of 6 or 7 out of 10, then they don't get no gun.
right. Mm.
Because Missouri is an open to carry. So as long as it's showing, you good.
I mean, Missouri is the show me state.
Yeah.
Use it, and but before we get up out of here, let everybody know how they can tap in with you and using your social media so they can stay in tune to what you got going on.
Oh, sorry.
You-
You can find me on Facebook, Mayor Robinson. Um, um, that's the only place I'm at. I do have our city page is City of Hayti Heights City Hall. You can follow us there for more information about what's going on in the city. I was just Mr. Noel actually just sent us some pictures, so I can say that we're proud to have before he passed away. Um, they call him Moses, but Isaac Hayes actually came to our city and did a mini concert in the middle of the street. How cool is that?
No, that's dope.
So yeah, so Monday I'll be uploading some pictures. So you guys go on Facebook and follow me, and you can see what I'm doing in our community. It's small but mighty. Hopefully y'all see me in the White House soon, because I do, my passion or my goal is to run for state representative. Then from there to move up to Senate and governor. So I got big plans. That's what's on my mind. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm gonna let God lead me. So I'll let you know. And it's a blessing. Thank you so much for inviting me on the show. It's awesome. Tell the wife I said hey, and tell the children I said be good.
Man, fuck them kids. No, I'm just joking.
We need them.
But it's been a pleasure. You said, it's like, oh my God, you said we're definitely gonna have to do this again, because I got so many other questions. My show's only an hour long.
Yes, sir.
It's like anytime you have anything coming out that's going on, you said, please, you said, feel free to hit me up, or if you said like any other, you said like, just so we can, because I love learning different perspectives from people, and you said especially in people that are trying to actually change lives instead of take lives, or instead of trying to be detrimental to somebody that's trying to be positive, you said, going forward. So it was a blessing to have you, and I thank you so much.
Thank you. You be blessed.
You too. All right, and if you guys like this video, make sure you smash that like button, turn on the bell notification so you don't miss another video. And without further ado, I love you. Lil Dub loves you. Mayor Robinson loves you. We out of here, man. Peace.
Peace.
The boy Dub Deuce in the building.